Hey, what's up? This is Brandon Simmons from BrandonSimmons.biz, and this is my weekly video blog called Bullheaded, a review of the Houston Texans news, as well as a preview of the upcoming game matchups. So, this week, the Texans will be going on the road to take on the Baltimore Ravens, a team that is also 1-3 and coming off a loss, unlike the Texans. And so, I'll get into all that on what the Texans need to do to get their second win of the season. But first, let me get into how the Texans got their first win of the season. So yeah, the Texans are coming off a 26 to nothing shutout over the Tennessee Titans. Get their first win of the year after a rough couple of weeks, and so pretty much this game was kind of funny to me actually. Now that I kind of look back on my notes, I wasn't feverishly writing notes on different things, and it just seemed like it was a smooth, dominant performance on both sides of the ball, which is crazy to me because past couple weeks, especially probably even in the Jaguars game, I had like pages filled out, and this one is like I just had hits and misses here. It just seemed like it was just a quiet, like strict. It's just a quiet, efficient performance by this Texans team, and it was one of the greater performances by this unit as a whole. Defense played amazing. Offense played amazing on both sides of the ball. C.J. Stroud, he had two touchdowns. He threw for two touchdowns in this game. I'm trying to pull up the funky stats now. Of course they wanted. Oh my God! So yeah, Stroud had two touchdowns in this game in the fourth quarter. Actually, um, well, here we go. Woody Marks was just awesome in this game as well. He ran for 50. Excuse me. He ran for 69 yards in this game, but also had 50 yards receiving. Nico Collins, he had four catches for 79 yards in this game after coming off a 100-yard receiving game the week prior. Um, Defense, great performance by them as well. Believe this is the biggest shutout deficit in Texans history, so a historic performance by them, but also a very quiet, dominant performance. And the reason why it might have been a little bit quiet for the defense and didn't really jump out at you, defense has been balling out all year. You know what I'm saying? So they've been beating teams down all year. It just so happens, obviously teams have scored more than the offense, more than the offense. So it probably really didn't, you know, it probably, yeah, those games probably just went under their stats and efforts probably just went under the radar. But this game was just a testament to the work that they've been putting in on that field like all year. You know what I'm saying? Danielle Hunter, he came up big, two sacks in this game. So uh, kudos to him. Kudos to the secondary. Kamari Lassiter, two pass deflections. Um, Another thing I want to take away from this game are the positives put on the film, particularly for the offense. So, offense, it's been fun kicking it back in for the first 3 weeks of the season, and they rightfully deserved it. But at the same time, they've had highlights and moments like here and there, especially in the Tampa Bay game, but it's mostly, but just like the Tampa Bay game, most of it's been in the fourth quarter. This game is kind of a similar fashion. The offense didn't really take off until the fourth quarter. As I mentioned, Stroud threw his two touchdowns in the fourth quarter of this game. One to Woody Marks, actually, and another to Jaden Higgins. And so, you know what I'm saying? Once again, it was another late offensive burst. But the difference is it really didn't feel like a stalled out type of thing throughout this game. And, the previous three games, it felt like, the offense was just kind of hanging around, moving along, just hedging around for three quarters. And then fourth quarter, they'll turn it on. This game almost got that feel a little bit, but not too much. They still were able to score points in the first half and just kind of extend the lead, go up 6-0 at the beginning, at the top of the second quarter. And, third quarter probably came out a little bit. blah. But fourth quarter they did pick it back up. So a little bit better effort from the offense all around. Through all three quarters, and so now they have something positive that they can put on film. You know what I'm saying? They have early game positives they can look at and be like, let's run this in this particular situation, that particular situation. Let's do that. You know what I'm saying? Still gave up 2 sacks in the first half only, but clean pocket in the second half. So you know what I'm saying? Kudos to them on that. Really my biggest takeaway overall is just great effort by this team on both sides of the ball. And a lot of people was probably like, in fact, I didn't even see it that much, to be honest with you. I'm thinking, people are going to be like, oh, it's the Tennessee Titans. They sorry, they suck. You know what I'm saying? We should have beat them, and yeah, they have a right to say that. But I'm going to take this win. Like, I don't care. Because regardless of how you feel about the Tennessee Titans, going to that game Sunday, both teams were 0-3. And so one of those teams came out with a win. You know what I'm saying? So at the time, the Texans didn't really look, you on paper, they weren't that much better than the Titans. But, now they actually kind of, what I'm saying? They actually really showed that they they might be stepping in the right direction. So yeah, I do. Actually, I don't want to talk about that Jeffrey Simmons play. That was a crazy play. Actually, I'll just speak on a little bit because it was kind of like one of the things that did stand out from that game. And yeah, I think somebody had posted the clip of it, just running it back. Um, and so yeah, it looked like it was just a missed assignment. So another thing to put on film, and that's not necessarily a positive. It's obviously more of a negative, but it's a negative that can be turned into a positive. Just going back and looking at that call and seeing what was called and what should have been actually, you know what I'm saying, what should have been actually executed in that particular play. So yeah, definitely, they're gonna definitely more things put on film that can help this team move in the right direction. So that being said, um, injury report. Oh, not too much news. One news item. Happy birthday, CJ Stroud. So, uh, yeah, that was pretty much the biggest news item. I mean, after a win, nobody's gonna go crazy. no, no fans are gonna go crazy. Nobody was fired this week. How about that? So, big ups to everybody keeping their jobs on the team and on the coaching staff. So, back to the injury report. Uh, Fatakasi, he's being ruled out for this for this weekend. Danico Autry is also ruled out for this weekend. Um, some other notables, I believe Nico Collins was on the report with a knee injury. And let's see if I got it pulled up. Yes, I do. Yeah. So yeah, Nico Collins, he's on there for a knee injury. Unspecified. Derek Stingley unspecified. So I think I'm looking at the Ravens, what the Ravens are reporting for the injury report. I think the Texans report might have them as questionable. So at this time, it's likely they're going to play. And if they're still like uh, in some type of jeopardy of missing the game, it might be a game time decision. But based off the Texans report that I saw, it looks like no, they were just questionable. And, what I'm saying, they were still going to be able to make it. Yeah, Harrison Bryant, he's unspecified. Yeah, yeah, tight end Harrison Bryant. Jalen Reed, he's been ruled out as well. So, um, hold on, let me get this going. So yeah, sorry, y'all. So there we go. Texting my injury report. Uh, so anyway, yeah, both those guys are ruled out. Um, so with that being said, um, with that being said, game time. So Texans are going on the road, taking on the Baltimore Ravens. Um, both teams 1-3, just like last week. Both teams were 0-3. Texans facing the Titans as two 0-3 teams. This week they're going to be facing another team mirroring their record. The Baltimore Ravens being 1-3, and with the Ravens, kind of a shocker that they're 1-3. But they've been facing some heavyweights this year. They've opened the season up against the Buffalo Bills, lost that game in comeback fashion. Then they just recently lost to the Kansas City Chiefs in a blowout fashion. Kansas City beat them down. And so they've really been having some issues. Um, just like the Texans have been having issues. So instead of issues on the offensive side of the ball, their problems seem to have been coming on the defensive side of the ball. And on top of that, they've also been dealing with a ton of injuries on this Baltimore team. So um, it's gonna be so it's gonna be a real interesting game because in addition to the injuries that they've been dealing with, mostly on the defensive side of the ball as of late, they're also going to be dealing with a key offensive injury as Lamar Jackson has been ruled out for this game. So it's looking like Cooper Rush is going to start in this game. Who last played against the Texans when he was a member of the Cowboys last season. But yeah, looks like Lamar is going to be out for this game. So no, no strategy for scrambling or keeping him in the pocket. So it should, it should be on paper an easy win for the Texans, but they really can't take this game that lighthearted, especially after coming off a win against the Titans. So here's a couple things that Texans need to do to actually put into play to win this game. So first off, it's the offense's turn to dominate. Yes, Texans offense, it's their turn to dominate. Defense, as I mentioned, defense has been the best part of this team so far. Through 4 weeks, defense has been the best part of this team. They showed that with the shutout last week. This week, it's time for the offense to really just get it together and formulate a plan. You see guys like Woody Marks, who's kind of like really stepping up. And D'Amico Ryan spoke highly about Marks as well as the other offensive rookies and how well they've been doing. So, but you see with Marks play, with his play last week, he's really looking like he's really trying to take over in that role as the lead back early on, and that's what I'm saying. That's a welcoming sign. Um, so yeah, it's definitely going to have to use him in this game. Um, the fourth quarter, whatever the offense does in the fourth quarter or gets ready to do in the fourth quarter, repeat that. Repeat that and do it for this entire game. Like I mentioned, last week, there were positives that, they looked a little bit more lively in throughout the game, but even then they didn't reach the red zone until the fourth quarter of that game, unless the end of the third quarter of that game. So it's definitely going to need this offense is definitely going to have to really step up and like execute all four quarters and get into that end zone. There's no way around it. They have to repeat those positives throughout the entire game and put this team away, and it's something that they're going to have to practice and execute, because right now the Ravens are 1-3, and without their quarterback, they're they're not they're not exactly 1-3 standards. So um, what I'm saying, it's really going to be up to the offense to really just kind of put this game away and not give them hope that they can hang around. The Texans offense has to be better throughout all four quarters of this football game. This is the perfect time for them to do that. On top of that, this Ravens defense has been bad, like all year. Like all year. They have been bad, and it's been shocking. You know what I'm saying? And so they've had games against. They've given they've given up a ton of points against Buffalo, given up a ton of points against Detroit. Then last week against Kansas City. So um, whatever is going on with them, probably ain't got nothing to do with the injuries. But now that the injuries are tacked on there, I mean, this week you got guys missing like Marlon Humphrey, uh, Ch- Chidobe Awuzie. I think I said that right. Yeah, um, yeah, Roquan Smith. I think Roquan Smith's been out for a couple games. So yeah, Humphrey, Smith, and yeah, Humphrey and Smith definitely, and Awuzie who just came to them. Um, you know what I'm saying? Those are three key guys on that defense. And so, you know, you really, especially with Humphrey and Awuzie in that secondary, look, it's look, CJ, he's gonna have to really just step it up, and you know what I'm saying, really, he's gonna really have to step it up and just really get this aerial assault going. So definitely, yeah, so he's gonna have to step it up, get his aerial assault going. Kaylee's gonna have to design some plays to make this passing attack really go hard to take advantage of these injuries. Second thing the Texans need to do. Um, Look, defense has only one job. They and you know where I'm going with this, man. Just take away Derrick Henry. That's it. And you know he's been looking kind of, eh, you know, this year as well. Probably not the same Derrick Henry as much. You know, he's been having issues, I believe, with fumbling the ball this year, but you're gonna have to make him a non-factor in this game. You know what I'm saying? And I believe that if they can do that, uh, they'll have a way better shot at putting this game away. And nobody's asking for them to get a shutout because Cooper Rush is still a, you know, he's a backup quarterback, but he's very much so like a veteran backup. You know what I'm saying? Like he knows he's not going to be shook by the moment. Like, you know, last time he played us, it was with the Cowboys last year. And even though it was like kind of like garbage time, he still threw for 354 yards on us. So he he can still like find playmakers or whatever, and excuse me, and they have the playmakers on there. You know, they got Zay Flowers, they got Rashad Bateman. You know what I'm saying? They got Mark Andrews on there. You know what I'm saying? So he can still find those guys. You know, I don't think that's a problem for him, even in his first year. But um, he also got sacked 5 times playing against us. So I believe our defense, if he's put in that position again, our defense is really going to get after him, and you know what I'm saying, just kind of disrupt whatever rhythm he thinks he's going to have against this team this weekend. Because yeah, he's still very much so he's still a solid backup quarterback. In fact, when he was with the Cowboys, I believe they were talking about the other week. You know, he won quite a few games. Like he had him going on like a pretty healthy winning streak at one point, and this was like one of the years Dak got hurt, and Dak came back, um, but he's definitely a sufficient backup QB. So uh, definitely you wanted to. So to that point is take away Derrick Henry, to really put the pressure on Cooper Rush, and you know what I'm saying, just kind of, you know, disrupt any motion or rhythm that he think he's gonna have against us. So that's all I got for y'all this week. Yeah, just those two things the Texans need to do. The Texans offense, they need to step up and make it their turn to dominate in this game. You know, take advantage of the Ravens' porous defense this year, and also some of the injuries that they're expecting to have on the defensive side of the ball. Same thing with our defense, with the Texans defense. Take away Derrick Henry, and you know, with the Ravens not having Lamar Jackson under center this weekend, you know, really just kind of get after Cooper Rush again and just really disrupt any rhythm that, you know, he may or may not have with these Baltimore playmakers. So Texans do that, they'll be able to pull away with a second straight win, and kind of get things really churning before things get really tough for him. So we'll see what happens. But with that being said, I'm Brandon Simmons from BrandonSimmons.biz. If you are watching this on YouTube, like this video, click the subscribe button, share this video with whoever. If you're watching this on Facebook, facebook.com/BrandonBlog, like my page, like this video, share this content, um, share it with whoever, whoever you can. So I'm Brandon Simmons for BrandonSimmons.biz. Holla black.